All right, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's talk about it. Happy Monday to everybody. Big J, what's the word?
Happy Monday indeed, loved ones. It's the first
Hey,
first Monday of the new year. Is that right?
first Monday of the new year.
First
Listen,
Monday
we
of the new year. Let's
and
get
we
it.
got we got the sunglasses on because the future is really bright. And I'm gonna tell you guys why. First, before I do that, let me shout out Coach Eric Henderson, dog work. You guys see this dog work apparel right here. Listen, man, go ahead. And it's true to size, man, when you get it. I got the hat, I got the shirt, I wear extra large. So look, it's true to size. Jay might wear it double X. Jay
Nah,
might
come
wear
on, nah, nah,
it.
come
he
on,
might
man.
he might give me. But look, the link is in the chat. You see it right here. If you can't put the link in, if you can't click on the link in the chat for Dog Work Apparel, just go ahead where it says Dog Work. You can type that address in and you'll get it right there. But this is the hey, look, it's official, man. So look, we got some stuff we got to talk about. We're gonna open up this thing in a minute for some individuals to talk, but finally, we've been talking about this for like a long, long time. And what's happening is USC is now officially about to hire a real general manager, a
Finally.
general manager that's going to really operate it like the NFL style, like most collectives have right now. Jay, what's your initial thoughts on that? And I'll just kind of skim over the. I'm not going to read the article, but just kind of go over it and talk about it briefly.
It's long overdue and so important. Like, to be honest, we had a GM with Coach Carroll. Most people don't even know that we had a GM with Coach Carroll during
Well,
Arnett.
can you explain the function? Like, what did the GM do
The
exactly?
GM, the, for the most part, from my understanding, it was Mark Jackson. That was his name. I mean, he was the coolest dude. Very responsive to the players' needs. Very involved with the day to day. On top of the athletes and all of the requirements athletically, he was very in tune with what was going on with our grades and how we just managed our entire college career in its entirety. Like, he was responsible for even prepping us for the types of questions that media might even ask, like getting us prepared for traps. Because even back then, we had so much exposure. I mean, we were very under the microscope, not to the degree by which these athletes are because of social media and how accessible information is right now. But
Right,
for the early 2000s, like '01 through '05, we were the microscope team in the
right,
country,
right.
right? And so what he would do is just help us understand how not to fall into those pitfalls. That's just from an interpersonal standpoint. So as a young man, you feel very confident that you've been prepped in a lot of areas so you don't get bamboozled or ambushed. Now,
Yeah,
with regard to the football functions, my understanding was he was responsible for travel arrangements, for all uniform and equipment, just overseeing every part of how all the money was being managed within the program. From my understanding, he may have had his thumb involved with some of the negotiations with Nike because we're sponsored by Nike, and also at the time we were sponsored by Gatorade. So just making sure all of the endorsements that were NCAA sanctioned and were partnered with USC, they were all up and it was just making sure that the coach had his T's crossed and his I's dotted. That's really what it was. He was the eyes for the coach when the coach had to keep his eyes on the team.
yeah. I don't know if you remember when I had Jeff McKay and Murr on here. They were from the Conquest Collective before the Conquest Collective kind of dissolved. But one of the functions was kind of like everything, like financial literacy. He covered so much to
Mhm.
where they really functioned. Well, they projected they wanted to function like to really just help these guys enhance their financial skills. And so, but that's just not the only thing a GM does, especially now with the collective age, because now you got to manage it like an NFL roster. You got to have a cap, you got to have budgets, you got to know how to distribute the funds, and then you got to have the right kind of system. And now we get ready, and this is Ryan Kurti from the LA Times. He says USC is planning. This broke today. USC is planning to hire a GM for its football program in the coming weeks. I'm told, he says, the hire at USC has been a long time in the making, with a pool of candidates that have a wide array of experience, and it's coming from NFL front offices. So when you think about that coming from the NFL front offices, man, like it's really put a different spin on this right now. What you thinking about that?
It has to be run. It has to be run like a professional organization, and the highest standard is the NFL. So there's no reason why we wouldn't model that blueprint with regards to how NFL front offices work with all of the funds that have to matriculate through the system and through the program. On top of that, just the fundraising in and of itself, there needs to be some entity that's very, very responsible for going out to accrue and accumulate extra funds for the players, and to have that extra bucket for when you have those kind of once in a lifetime opportunity athletes that you either need to pay to retain, or you need to pay to consider you know, as a landing place for their career. And when I say pay, I mean with regards to like opportunities through the NIL collective, because you can't just give the young men cash. You can't just cash them out just for any reason. These are endorsement deals, and they're incentives for services, essentially for promotional things and for all sorts of, there's no shortage of things, right? I've seen so many different types of NIL packages for athletes, and I think that a GM is the kind of person that comes in to make certain that all of the things that our athletes are affiliated with are in alignment with the long-term benefit of their career and the university as a whole. So, you know, they're not going to just be out there advertising no crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Just for the bag. It's gotta align. And your GM has to be someone that has a fiduciary acumen, right? That has financial acumen and a fiduciary responsibility that works hand in hand with the staff, the head coach in particular, and then also like the chief of operations, as well as the president of the university, to understand all of the like projections for moving forward, and most importantly, the treasurer, the person or persons who are responsible for all of the funds that get allocated from all of the athletic department. Football,
No doubt.
is the source of funding for USC institution outside of tuition.
Absolutely. Now I know research is heavily involved with major finances that come into the university, but this getting ready to kick off this I think summer, which is revenue share, and that's a whole different aspect that's getting ready to. We've never even been at this point before. So revenue sharing, everything that the university brings in, I believe they're going to cap it off at 22 million. And I'm just giving an estimation, rough estimation. Maybe the football program gets maybe 15 million. I will say. I'm thinking that's just the estimation. That's just some stuff that I heard. I'm not sure if that's, but you got the NIL aspect of it. Now you got the revenue sharing. So how does that? I wonder how is this going to get ready to play out as far as like, is the roster getting ready to be? Are we going to actually need a 85-man roster now? You know what? I mean, you know, because what you think?
It's left to be determined, TBD, in my opinion, particularly because I think long gone are the days of the altruist for most college universities. There are those true and blue student athletes who grow up and SC is the dream no matter what. That's what they're going to do. I think it's a far cry from those types of players in abundance over the next 5 to 10 years. I think you're going to have to go and find ways to incentivize athletes to want to wear the Cardinal and Gold outside of just the legacy of University of Southern California. More so, it has to be, what does this do for me in the right now, in the interim, and then also what is my projection if I stay long term? Because players want to see a scaling type of package. For example,
absolutely. What's your work?
Right. Am I going to make 500,000 my first year?
Based on your position.
Based on performance, 750 my next year. And then by my junior year, right before I potentially declare for the draft, am I going to have $1 million? If you could show me that and show me statistically how it's working out for the players that had this similar type of packaging, okay, let's rock.
Yeah. And you know what was crazy is I heard that USC didn't really have a projection sheet, if you will, like how much each position is worth. For example, a running back maybe, I'm just giving an example, a running back may be worth 100,000. Offensive lineman may be worth 200,000. I don't even think they even have that available to them. So really, it's kind of like just a freestyle type thing right now, to where you know we see we just lost Emmanuel Pregnon. I think a story just came out today where another school, I don't even want to say that school, offered him $150,000 more than what USC was offering. So you got to know what the going rate is for a particular position in order to have some success in this. And I think that's where other schools are a little bit more successful, because I think they have a project. You know, they know exactly what the value for somebody is.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No, it's true, and that's where, I mean, God bless our, former, Carol. I mean, I don't want to go there.
It's not all. Oh yeah. You talking about?
Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
You said God bless. Who are you referencing?
Fault.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. Go ahead. You go. Yeah, I'll let you roll with that.
What I'm saying is, like, the antiquated systems and the belief systems are outdated from the people who've been doing this for the last 40 years. That's the truth. So here's what USC is: like an oak tree, seasoned. It's, deep roots that have been here for well before all of us, right? Very trustworthy, very sustainable. I would like to commission the entire USC body to transition from thinking that we're like this mighty oak tree that's grand and beautiful and, just massive, right? We need to become more like palm trees. And that palm trees have a spongy body. The inside of a palm tree is not like a traditional tree that has rings that, you can see how old the tree is based on the rings. A palm tree is made of like a spongy material that has flexibility, and the trunk sways, it bends and it moves, and not just like the oak tree where the roots go wide, but the palm tree goes very, very deep, up to 12, 14 feet deep down into the earth and wide. And that's why when the wind blows strong, palm trees rarely get tipped over.
Absolutely.
You rarely see a palm tree on its side. You'll see that thing bend and sway. That's why they are the only trees, majority, that can withstand hurricanes, typhoons, floods, tsunamis, etc. Whereas the oak tree, the wind blows strong enough, it can tip over. So we have to have a young, minded,
vibrant,
flexible, understand how to bend with the wind and not break, right?
Yeah.
That is what we need in terms of leadership at USC.
Especially as it relates to NIL. You got to know, you got to know what the younger generation is looking at. You got to know what they like. You got to be able to, in other words, you're saying that you got to be able to adapt. It can't just be your way or the highway type deal. Or you're going to be lost in the sauce. So we're going to open up some calls, but I don't know if you remember here the other day, you remember we were talking about a lot of recruits from Oregon, how they were stockpiling some talent, and we were kind of making reference to that. Yeah. And we talked about the fact that a lot of those guys will probably be decommitting. And we found one today, just happened today, Ryan Palin. No disrespect to anything, but he's in the transfer portal. He was committed to USC. He's in the portal now. And so, do we go after him? We'll see what happens. But I think this is going to happen. A lot of guys, we mentioned Dakota Fields, we mentioned Roderick Pleasant, we mentioned all these guys that are Adrian Bleeding. We don't see none of these guys. Now they're going to start hitting the portal, and we'll see what happens. But, I think the revenue sharing, I think the NIL being fixed, I think that's going to help out a lot as far as some of these local guys too.
I hope so. And I hope that we get a lockdown on what's going on in California. Like,
it's rough, man.
The athletes here can win. You can win a national championship with all California players.
Yeah.
at least 90% of your roster can be constructed of California athletes, and you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
If you're letting our top tier athletes feel like they need to go across the country to have a competitive advantage, we're missing the mark. Sincerely, we're just missing the mark. And
Absolutely.
we got to figure this out.
No doubt. I think NIL is a part of it, but I think being able to have somebody on staff that can really knows the area, the terrain, man, be able to move and grow, that's going to help out a lot as well. Hey, Christian, we haven't had any names yet, but they said the next coming week, maybe this week, maybe next week, we should hear something. I'm gonna put this link in here. We're gonna open this up to individual. Hey, look, don't forget, those who are coming in, don't forget to go get your dog work gear, man. I got mine that came in. Look, it said USCJ on it, man. You can get it customized. Oh, shout out to my guy Anthony Butler, man. He sent me this hat today, man. This hat is dope.
Oh, that's fire. Hey, bro. Man.
Shout out to my
You get that.
It got the corduroy on it and everything, man. Big shout out. I'm about to put my mic up. Hey, hey, we over there. I got too excited, big dog. hey, we're gonna open up the chat, man. You guys come on in, man. Those who want to come in, we're gonna talk about the NIL. We're talking about all this stuff, man. Come on in, everybody.
Y'all better be laughing right now. I know y'all laughing too.
Yeah, we got the first one. All right. Leon, what's up, big dog? Oh, son. Hey, hold on for a second. Hey, let me put myself back in the camera. Hey, Coach Henny, if you see this, I told these guys to get the dog work gear. Look, get that dog work gear, man. It's go time. Big Leon, what's up, man?
Hey, listen, I don't know if you saw my post, but I ordered 3 shirts and a hoodie. Somebody in FedEx stole my hoodie.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man. They want that dog work, and they like, yo, we snatching it out the mail.
They snatched out the mail, huh?
Yeah, man.
Man. What's the word, man?
And listen,
what you got today?
This a little light work. This a little something subtle, a little Cartier joint for you. You know what I mean? Something a little subtle, man.
Hey, man, you got everybody beat all the time, man, with the glasses, man. You be getting it.
Hey, listen, I'm 50 years old. I've been doing this since the early 80s. Ain't none of your listeners can fuck with me when it comes to these frames, man.
Well, you the real deal.
Man,
yes, indeed. Hey, listen,
I'm gonna
aspire. I'm gonna have to aspire.
The sunglasses thing started in Philly, Wilmington, Delaware.
Are you from Philly? You from Philly?
I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. We're 20 minutes away from Philly. I used to go to
West Coast Optical. I've been there, man. Look. I've been over the bridge, man. And it, you know, right there, it's a bridge, and to the right, you got projects before you cross over into Philly. You know what I'm talking about?
You talking about Camden, New Jersey. That's what you're talking about.
Well, actually, was that Camden? No, because it's all right there.
Camden
it's like
right across,
I crossed 3 states. I crossed 3 states like in 5 minutes, no, like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it tripped me out, man, because I just went boom, 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 and I was like, "You got some projects?" I think it was Philly though. Before I crossed into Delaware, it was to the left.
It's Delaware, then Philly. You go across the bridge. You go to Jersey. You keep going up. You hit New York. We all right there.
Man, that tripped me out, man. I didn't know it was that close. That's wild. But yeah. So man, what's your thoughts on all this?
Hey, listen, man. I'm all down for having a GM. If you take a step back, I think if you look at what Lincoln Riley's doing in the portal right now, addressing our needs, I think he's doing a pretty good job. But Jay Walk was talking about, he wants some younger blood in there, somebody who's a little more flexible. You know what you remind me of? Moneyball. Remember when the GM and his main scout started using the sabermetrics?
I haven't seen it. I gotta see Moneyball, man.
Yeah, they were trying to win the Major League Baseball, the MLB World Series, getting undervalued players, and they won it all. And as soon as you start talking about that, I'm like, you talking about Moneyball, man.
I gotta watch it now.
He absolutely right. We need somebody who's young, energetic, who is in tune with the younger players, and flexible, different mindset, not thinking about, back in the early 2000s, somebody who's, 2025 is all about today and knows what's going on with these players, man.
That's it.
No doubt. Jay, you had anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, I doubled down on that, and it's true. There are people out there. Like, first of all, USC fans, I love you, but all of us as USC fans have selective amnesia. We forget so much. I can remember reading articles when Coach Carroll got hired. This guy's a bum. He sucked in the NFL.
I remember that. I
He's
do.
a bum.
I remember. I
He
remember that.
busted in the NFL. He busted in the college he coached before that. Oh man, what is wrong with USC? Oh God. All right. I remember all that. I remember reading that.
And Jay, not to end it. Remember, we're gonna talk about something as it relates to that too.
Yes, we are.
The quarterback. We're gonna do that another day though.
Yes, we are. And so I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there right now because that's another conversation.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is he was the outside of the box, different mentality that was required to connect with the team that we had in that generation. I strongly believe that Lincoln Riley also, as a head coach, has that same adaptability. I just think he's now learning how to build the people, the supporting cast around him to advocate and relegate different responsibilities and roles to. If he just doesn't try to manage this team and just allows himself to be the creative genius that he is, the charismatic recruiter that he is, because he does have some charisma with recruitment, particularly in the Southeastern Bank. He got to learn how to recruit West Coast. He got to know that when kids say, "What up, cuz?" They ain't trying to coach them. They just trying to say, "What up?" That's all that is. You know? And so once he gets accustomed to understanding how the West Coast athletes need to be spoken to and how their families need to rock and roll, he'll do better. And as we bring in those different mindset people to kind of help move the ball down the field around him, like those Coach Henneys, like those Coach Newell. You know, there's a few other coaches that I can throw out there, man. I don't want to disrespect anyone by not naming someone, but y'all know who y'all are. And Coach Riley knows who you guys are. As he brings more of those types of people into the fold, we will start to see our team morph into the adaptation that it needs for us to have the competitive advantages that we should.
Absolutely, man. So Leon, anything else you want to say on that? And you remember we talked about, I think we touched on Twitter as well about the Oregon stuff, man, and what some of these young recruits, man. I know you kind of saw that today, man. What's your thoughts on that?
Listen, man, I think people have been talking for the last couple of days once Oregon lost, how many of those young players that they had gotten from Southern California might be hitting the portal. And then we saw Pelham. People are saying Dakota Fields is going to be out there. They lost a 5-star quarterback that committed to Cal. Hey, listen, man, y'all young recruits, go to USC, man. Go get developed and be a star. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to see y'all up there in the rainforest. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, you can go to USC and wear Kobe's too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
But and one more thing, because I know you got people lined up, Jay. But we need to be patient with Coach Riley. You know, people talk about, he should be doing this a year 3, year 4. It took Jim Harbaugh 9 years to get a championship, to build his trenches, to build his defense, and get everything the way they needed to get done, and they wind up getting a championship. I'm not saying Lincoln's going to take 9 years, but let's give him some time, man. Let's back him and let's back the players. You know what I'm saying? Back the staff, back the school. Give them some time to do what they need to do, and they'll produce, man.
I agree.
No, I totally agree with you, man. Everybody wants this instant oatmeal, man. But sometimes, they forget about even Steve Sarkisian. Don't forget. I mean, this is his 5th year. This is Lincoln Riley's 3rd year. They called him 7-win Sark for a reason. And it wasn't no disrespect, but, he was having some issues with getting over that hump. But now, as things come in and he figured out NIL, they figured out all this stuff, it's all gelling together for him. And I think it's going to be the same for everybody. And as you alluded to, Jim Harbaugh, it took him a minute. Well, you say 7 years? I thought it was 8 years.
It was 9.
9.
Oh, okay. He said 9. Yeah, it took him a minute. And those guys matured. Those guys stayed in the program, and they got mature enough to where they was able to develop. And so, yeah, I think I want to see, and I'm hoping the revenue share aspect, I hope and pray that keeps more guys in the fold from just hopping up from team to team to where they can actually be developed. Because right now, if you're hopping out of a team the first year, man, you're gonna learn one technique from a coach to another technique, and everybody teaches something different. You get what I'm saying? What you think, Jay?
That's a fact, man. You got to sit still long enough to understand where your foundation is. And I'm going to tell you, the best thing I did was to stay at SC and fight through it. It was the best thing I did. And the reason is I went into the NFL as an undrafted free agent, and every single day they brought in at least 6, 7 dudes to replace me. And the coach was very, very specific about that. He said, every Tuesday, I'm going to bring in about 7 or 8 DBs to take your job. And I'm going to tell you that. So when you see me coaching those other guys, they're trying to take your locker, Walker. Had I not fought through what I went through in college, had I not learned the resolve and the fortitude, had I not learned how to practice through that adversity and kind of wait my turn to a degree, I would not have had the mental capacity to deal with all those different dudes coming in. Some of them were veterans that I looked up to, guys that I was playing with as Madden characters just the year before.
Yeah.
When they were free agents, they would come over to Houston and try to take my spot. And it was so clear. And so I was so calm, right? Because of the development that I got. And there's no way a walk-on free agent like me that only started in 4 or 5 games his senior year has an NFL career to the capacity that I did and sustain it, and then have respect from his teammates, and they love me, and my coaches love me. The thing is I think I broke my body in college. I broke my body being that effort guy, and so I didn't have the sustainability as a pro. I ended up being a pro for 5 years, and 2.5 of them were in the NFL. Then I was in Europe and in the AFL. But I lived my dream, guys. I did. I got to do it. The little kid from the projects, the Cabrini Greens in Southside Chicago, by way of South Central Los Angeles. I got to live my dream, and it was fighting on in college that got me there. So nothing is better than staying at USC. Nothing as a professional. I'm telling you, stick with it, young men. Stick with those people, because I can call each and every one of them to this day, and we're still family, and they got me and I got them.
No doubt.
Hey, real quick, USCJ, let me tell you something. Young people, there's nothing more a learning process in terms of learning how to fight through adversity, going through tough times and coming out on the other side. And where I come from, it's called go hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not just football. It's also, it'll carry on throughout life. When you get fired from a job, or you lose your house, or all these other things you're going to go through, all this stuff hardens you and makes you go even harder to be successful. And I'm not just talking on my ass, because I was a walk-on for college football as well. I played 2 years until I tore my ACL, and, going through my rehab and stuff like that, and then not being able to go back and play football, graduate and get my computer science degree, get my master's degree. I learned all that hard work and not giving up throughout life. So just because somebody wants to hand you a bag with some money in it and give you the easier route ain't always the best route. You feel me? So, toughen up, work hard, fight through it. Don't let nobody steal your spot, and you'll be good, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely appreciate you coming in, man, tapping in. I like that dog work stuff, man. And Anthony Spirits, hey, shout out to you. You says, how can we get the dog work apparel? I'm getting ready right here. Here is the address. Hey,
There's a
thank you
link.
for the super chat. It's a link. And if you can't click that link, I don't know if you can click it from there, but that's how you get the dog work apparel right there. So you could type it in just like that. I'm gonna leave it up there so you guys can see that. You guys can look good like me and Leon right here, man. I'm gonna have to get Jaywalk his shirt, man.
Man, I'm getting left out, bro.
Yeah.
My bad, coach. I'm going to get mine.
Hey, listen,
I'm going to get
as soon
mine,
as I saw
coach.
the dog work link, I was on top of that, man. I need my gear. I need
You-
this. I need to roll all over Florida with this dog work, airports and all. You know what I mean?
Hey, don't sleep on they might know who you are, man, as you moving and traveling through the city. You know
That's
what I
okay.
mean?
I'm just trying to represent, bro. I'm just trying to represent.
Love it.
Absolutely. So Leon, man, we definitely appreciate you, man. Fight on, my man, fight on.
Yeah, fight on, man.
I'm up here trying to
fight
answer these. All right. So Jay, let me make sure we might be having a special guest come on here in a second. I just sent him the link while that's kind of what I was doing. Let me see if he comes in. He may be coming in, but I'm gonna put this link back in the chat real quick. All right, there it is. So you guys come on in, man. We came in to talk about this, man. The future of this program, where the program is going, the direction. We've been temporarily, it appears to be lost in the sauce. Now, I will say, since Jen Cohen has been here, things have came up to par a little bit. It hasn't been as stagnant as it was in the beginning. You guys know in the beginning, it looked like guys just could come and just swoop our guys up. But now we kind of have some type of competitive nature when it comes to this, and I think USC is trying to come up even more. So let me take this other call that's coming in. Christian, what's the word?
What's going on, my brother? I was gonna sit back and just enjoy today, but it look like when nobody hopping in, man. Hey, yeah, I thought you had blocked me out yesterday. I mean, this morning I had got a notification and then it said a private. I was like, man, I got to do something special again.
No. We had to. What it was is an officer lineman that was reported to be on campus, and then it was confirmed, but then the report came out that it was unconfirmed, so I had to put that on private. I can't, I don't leave out information that's not valid. Yeah, I had to confirm that.
Got you, man. I was like, what's going on? What's going on, my brother? Hope everybody having a great New Year. Man, yeah, I agree with you, Jay Wild, man. We gotta get somebody in there, man. Somebody that's young could freshen up the thing, relate to these players, and I think the biggest thing is to make sure they got the management aspect of it, as far as having kind of that NFL mentality when it comes to building a team, right? There's some players you're gonna have to spend that big money on, but also being able to realize talent out there, a 3 and 4 star, a couple of them that fit the scheme and what we're trying to do here, that you can plug in at a lower price and make it work. I don't think that we're ever going to get to the point where we can have a $1 million roster, if that makes sense, right? Like just be able to just buy out everybody. At some point, it's going to have to take some good management to be able to bring in those gotta have players, but still be able to plug and play to fit other needs here and there with players who don't cost them much, but fit the system right, fits the scheme, and that's going to come with somebody having to offer talent, understanding the scheme and the coaching staff and what we want to do, and the philosophy and their skill set. So they're going to have an eye.
Well, hold on, Christian. I got a question for you, Christian.
Yes, sir.
So are you primarily looking for, or are you suggesting that the general manager should be the one that looks for the actual talent? Because
no, I'm saying they should work hand in hand with it. I mean, like it has to go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, they have to go hand in hand. But I think recruiting. I think some people like they're getting the general manager aspect of it kind of because because it's the NFL. They have that model where those general manager guys they scout those guys out, they scout the talent, and they're able to pursue that talent. Whereas as a position coach like an Eric Henderson, for example, or a linebacker coach, they still have to have the recruiting. Those are the ones that's gonna have the boots on the ground. That's actually going from school to school and scout these young men out. So I think from that perspective.
And it,
Oh,
and
go
it
ahead. Go
depends
ahead.
on what and it depends on what NFL model, right? Because
Right, right.
some NFL models, the coaches have the power to choose their own players. They don't control the contracts and all that, but they have
Right,
the
right.
power to bring in their own
True.
players they need. But they work hand in hand with the GM to say, all right, what's the budget looking like? What can we offer? So and the GM aspect is to basically like this is the budget. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I
Yeah.
can get you this one player, or we can go after this other player that you want, give him this big money and get two comparable, you know what I'm saying, players that fit this and that, or we can go get this one big player. So they go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. They
They
do.
work
So
together.
I guess would you still call it? I guess you would still have a director of recruiting. I guess you still have a director of recruiting, but then where does J. Rob, what you think about it? Like, where do you think the general? Like, where's the line drawn at?
Honestly, the feedback and the evaluation from I think that you have to have the point of view of, okay, what is how many resources do we have to allocate towards this player? So, okay, that's a scholarship. That's whatever funding, the base funding package that we have per athlete that we bring in. Plus, how many years do we think this athlete has upside, right? Are they going to be a second year contributor and then junior, senior starter? Are they going to be true freshman starter contributor? Like, there's so many variables that I think
Right, right.
the GM can start to actually help recruitment narrow down things, because a recruit specialist, as I know a handful of them, they always take the most optimistic point of view. That's the player never getting hurt, the player never being dissatisfied, the player always staying eligible, the player doing what they're supposed to do within the team confines. Like, it's always the most optimistic outlook. Whereas I think a GM can chop it back a few layers and unpeel some of those. Okay, well, what's his family situation like? What's his social economic situation like? What influences does he have? He grew up on that neighborhood. Okay, well, who's his cousins? Who's his family? Who's going to be around him all day around the campus? There's just so many things that a GM can actually add to the table to help you lock in on certain types of personalities. And I think even a GM can have a greater psychological profile on athletes, plus their parents and the pressures that may come from those parents. This is just me, and I could be overthinking it.
That's. I think all that's involved, man, and I think when you start digging into all that stuff, yeah, I mean, you got to know the landscape, you got to know who you involved with, and you got to know who you're dealing with in order to be successful. That way, you know, you don't discriminate as it relates to the way you do it,
No.
but it helps you to have better judgment on what you're dealing with.
Yeah, you just have a greater sense of discernment. There's a greater selective process, I think, that allows for, and the truth is like, man, I don't want to put this I don't want to put this kid on blast, but I can remember when the coaches pulled me into the office to talk about one of our premier recruits that we were trying to recruit. And he was from out of state. And they said right away, this kid's gonna have homesickness. Like, we need him, but Jaywalk, he's gonna have homesickness because he did not want to come on this trip because he was going to be away from his family for 3 days. Just that alone made this a high risk, high reward type of situation. So long story short, I ended up not being his host, and they ended up letting someone else host him. He committed, and every bit of what they said. He was homesick. He fought it for 2 years, and then finally he got over the hump, right? And he was an amazing player. Believe me, you all know him. He's an amazing player from out of state, and he ended up being a legend. But those types of things do factor in, because there were several other players that we had that conversation with, like, hey, this kid might be homesick. They quit the team. They did leave. They did not stay at USC. At least 3 guys who there was a little iffy. And so if we can have more sound decisions and strong leadership to help make those decisions between coaches, staffs, position coaches, strength and conditioning, and just really tack down what the upside is, the risk versus the reward, we can land greater players that fit our profile. And I think
Absolutely.
it can't just be chasing stars, guys. You have to figure out what role players are, what types of locker room personalities are, what type of cultural things that this player is going to bring into this locker room element. And that all that stuff
It's
really
involved. Absolutely.
matters. And
Absolutely.
you know, because it's very easy in this generation to have someone feel isolated, alienated, homesick, and they're out, or feel just left out. Like, I'm on this team, but really I don't feel like nobody understand me. I want to go back to the crib, so I'm gonna transfer to Texas A&M.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, there's so many nuances to this family that's what we can use a lot more of. And I think a GM can create a staff around him to help have these psychological evaluations. Like, a lot of people don't know, I was Adrian Peterson's host at USC. A lot of people don't know that.
I remember you told. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely remember that.
It was the highest profile hosting I ever had to do, in my opinion. I hosted a game. Every one of them committed except him. And I talked to him off to the side, and we took him to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, and that's what his dad wanted. And his dad was there. And I asked AP, I was like, man, do you want to come here? And he just kind of looked at me like the school is cool, the place seems cool, but Reggie and Lindell are here, plus 2 other guys. And he goes, and I don't want to touch the ball 12, 13 times a game. Right. And even after the trip, when it was all said and done, he said, you know what? I like it. I'll consider it. I really will. Like, when we dapped and hugged and we left for when he was about to fly back to Texas, he left me with a 60-40 type feeling. So I told Coach Carroll, I gave him the breakdown, the psychological evaluation, everything. Coach Carroll was very optimistic. He was like, yes, Johnny, I know you did a good job. And then I just told him, I said, you know what, Coach? I could just tell that even if we did give him a scholarship, he would leave in a year. He wouldn't be happy here not being who he's supposed to be. Gets the ball every, he gets the ball 20 times a game. And so we need those types of relationships in the recruitment process. And I just don't think we do. I don't think we have enough hosts who have substance, who understand long game, because the hosts that are hosting these kids when they come and visit,
they're dealing with the same.
They don't have the exact loyalty.
Yeah.
So there's some leadership that needs to happen.
They're hosting and someone else is hosting them at a different school at the same time.
hey, no, that's look. Before they went out tonight, the third party already called them like, look, we want you, but go ahead and handle your business. Hey, it's real, man. That's the reality that we're living in right now.
Y'all
man.
don't know that the players host the recruits that come in, guys. So if the players themselves are being recruited somewhere else,
crazy, man. Unbelievable.
That's why I have so much empathy for what these athletes are going through. Y'all can talk that talk, but if you don't have to walk those shoes and understand how challenging that is, and how coaches even get resentment to you if you didn't host a recruit to the point where they want to commit. They're like, we trusted you with that person. We gave you every opportunity to bag that person and get them here, and you left us hanging. It's like, it's not my job to bring in somebody who wants to take my job. You got me hosting these safeties and DBs that you want to take my job. You do know that, right, Coach? Yeah, I'm gonna leave this kid in the alley somewhere and drive away. What are you talking about? And so, obviously, I'm joking. I always show love to my guys, and everyone committed except for Adrian Peterson, which I didn't think he should have committed to SC. That was Reggie and Lindell's show, period.
Absolutely.
And
I
so,
can even imagine. AP was a beast. I'm not gonna front.
He was.
But I can imagine USC without Lindell and Reggie.
And what's crazy about that scenario you just shared, Jay Wild, because I don't even know why I went on the recruitment trip because I wasn't going anyway. But I had went on it trip to Wyoming, basically because the school I was at was kind of like Wyoming was, a lot of people the year before me, a year before, a couple players, they were pulling players out of there, and so I went on a trip to Wyoming, and I actually experienced that, right? I mean, I didn't really want to go from California to Wyoming anyway. I'm like, I ain't never been to Wyoming. What's in Wyoming? But I went to check it out. But that's kind of how my host was, right? Right.
Yeah.
He wasn't barely friendly and wasn't very because he seen it as a threat. As far as us playing the same position and all that. I mean, if anything, he felt like he was kind of downplaying Wyoming. Giving me all type of like, yeah, man,
Yeah.
ain't nothing to do up here. It's just gonna be football 24/7. Ain't nothing to do with boy. Ain't no life, man. You from city, you ain't gonna like it up here. You know what I'm saying, babe? Like okay, well, okay.
I ain't coming in. Be
Yeah,
like,
man.
about to be home on the range, where the deer
Right.
in a low play. That's all you're getting in Wyoming, dog. Yeah. Hey, guys, there's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot that you're expecting of these young men to do. You want them to be stars. You want them to stay eligible. You want them to produce on the field. You want them to also bring in the next generation of players who are supposed to take their job. You want them to score every touchdown, block every punt, catch every pass, never jump off sides, never throw a personal foul punch, never target, never. You guys just knock it off and just enjoy having the athletes that we got while we got them. Cherish the young men when they put their efforts. I mean, pat them on the head when they do well, and you can shake your finger when they don't play to the standard. But at the end of the day, you have no idea the tumultuous level of workload that's required of these student athletes. And not just that, but unlike us, these athletes are also required to build a personal brand simultaneously while they're at one of the top premier academic institutions in the world. Handle those responsibilities. On top of that, negotiate all of their brand endorsements. Not only that, figure out what investment strategies and portfolio they're supposed to do. Not only that, learn their playbook, stay healthy, perform always, no matter what they're going through. Not be human, but just be a machine for our pleasure and entertainment on Saturdays, and sometimes the occasional Friday or Thursday, and ideally some Monday and some championship game down the season. Guys, just let these athletes be who they are. Love them while you can. Cherish them. Stop writing so many hateful things to these young men because they read it. And the truth is what you put online lasts forever.
Even the ones that leave, man, I see so many salty fans. Look, man, if they leave, it's their life. Let them go. Hey, salute. I want to see them successful, but don't just smash them and crash on them, man. When they exit out, that
And
shows what's in your heart, for real.
you was loving them and calling them the best 6 weeks before. Like, it's, come on, man. Like, the hypocrisy can't be your democracy, man. Like, you gotta. I'm just speaking from, man. I'm talking real talk, man. Y'all, I read some of these comments and I'm just like, y'all don't get it because you're just a fan, but you don't understand all that goes into this. Not all of it. You understand probably a lot of it, but all of it. You have no idea the level of social pressures. You have no idea. You have no idea how many people are telling them what they should and shouldn't do always. And they may come to social media just to get their mind off of something that's stressing them out. And then they're flooded with all the hateful comments of people who will never understand anything that they're going through. So just don't be that person, because there's a saying, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can absolutely break your heart. And that's scientifically proven. It is a myth that words don't hurt people. They do. They leave the most damaging psychological and emotional scar tissue beyond physical pain. These kids can take broken bones, ACL surgeries, knee replacements, but you talk about them personally, about their character, their spirit. Some of them don't have the exact framework to overcome that in a timely fashion that's in a college window. You just don't understand how much abuse they've already dealt with to get to the point where they are and come into a body that they think is going to support them. And the moment they have any lapse in performance based on your standard, you start to crush them. Cut it out, because you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. If you don't like what I'm saying, you can kick rocks too.
Absolute fact.
I'm speaking the truth about what these young men come to me about. Ask me to pray for them, because they're getting attacked every angle of their life. Attacked on the field, in the classroom, in their family, social media, in their private relationships. They feel attacked at all times. And yes, they signed up for it. They did. But help them out if you can. Help them out.
Man, I just think it's one of them things where hurt people, man. And when people leave, because you invested it, so we as fans we invested emotion and time into it.
Yeah.
That when people leave, they're hurt, and so they're using the platform to get that hurt out, right? They're lashing out because they're hurt by the player leaving, and and that's not always, well, it's never a good way to really to get off your hurt, right? By attacking, but that's normally people's first defense is, okay, I'm hurt. I want to lash out. Like they feel like they're coming here to vent, but at the same time, it's not a positive vent or a positive release of that hurt.
Absolutely.
You're right, Chris.
Well, Christian, look, man, I appreciate you. Tapping in, man. I gotta take this call. There's a special guest I've been waiting on. But man,
All right,
your insight is on point though, Christian. I appreciate you, family.
all right, man. Y'all have a great one.
All right, Chris. Appreciate you.
Man, I got my guy Mert here, man. What's the deal? For those who don't know, man, let me tell you who Mert is, man. Mert was over the Conquest Collective, man. He has good insight on just the whole aspect of it, man. Like what we're talking about. There's a story that broke out today. Mert, Ryan Kurti from the LA Times talked about a general manager is getting ready to come within the next few weeks, and apparently it's going to be a guy from the NIL. So we just kind of talking about that, and man, just if you could just give us your insight, being that you was over the Conquest Collective, like what do you think the characteristics need to be as far as that?
Yeah, Jay, you got me at a good time, man. I'm just getting over a flu, man. I know a lot of people out there were sick. I just got home.
Well, man, you look all swollen. You look like you've been lifting weights or something.
Man,
what's up?
I stay clanging and banging, though. That's not gonna stop. No, I literally just stepped home from the baseball field and the tennis court, man. So if you hear the little ones in the background crying and a crazy household in Hernandez, man, we got four little ones, man. It's all good, man. But
it's all good.
Nah, man, I got your text, and any way I can come on and support. I know I'm a busy guy and I don't really have time sometimes, and anytime I could get on, man, I love you and Jaywalk, and Jaywalk is always good to see you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
But just from somebody in my perspective, sitting in my seat, I've been in the sports business now 10 years. Built my business, the tried and true way, nothing given, everything earned, right? Built it out of Wall Street, and as a financial advisor, now I'm the director of sports and entertainment for a large Wall Street firm at Raymond James, and manage over 25 to 30 NFL and college athletes now on a day-to-day basis, working with finance and contracts and negotiations and NIL and marketing and everything that has to encompass here what the new world is of college sports. And I think Jay hit it on the head. Jaywalk talking about having somebody who understands the culture of the folks that we're really courting, right? And understanding the landscape of LA, understanding the high school ranks, I think is very important. Obviously, having the interlock, you're able to, that's going to open the doors and everybody wants you there. But once you get in there, it's really, what's your aura like, right? Are you a servant leader to everybody, right? Are we going in there just assuming that they want to come because who we are? Are we going there and earning the business, earning the respect, right? Coming there humbly, asking these folks and these high-level athletes and saying, listen, the University of Southern California is the best place for you not only to develop your academic acumen, your athletic acumen, we can also get you paid with NIL, and not only just get you paid through a collective or pay to play, what everybody want to say, but actually teach these guys how to build their brand, right? How to build a business, right? These guys are walking brands. A lot of these guys are walking businesses. And so we have to have somebody in there and a team around them to really educate them and show them. And I think Jen Cohen and Jay Hillebrands has done a phenomenal job of putting some things in place with LTS Sports. I know currently we have Dave Emmerich in the post, and I know he's done an admirable job, spearheading the general manager position. And look at here, man. I'm just going to keep it real. Everybody want to be armchair quarterbacks in today's world, right, man? Everybody's armchair quarterbacks, right?
Absolutely.
And so here's the reality, man. Like when Dave and Lincoln came in with Brandon Sosna, NIL and college sports was not what it is today, right? And so the position of a general manager has evolved so quickly in the last year, 2, 3 years, is that, people sometimes came in with a different skill set than what's needed in today. And that's fine.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that.
That's just the nature of business, man. And Jen Cohen and Jay Hillebrands knows that. That's why we got smart people like them running the athletic department. And we have someone like a Sam Adams, who I know, who I consider a personal friend. She's somebody in the backdrop who's on Jen's staff that's very well attuned to how the landscape is changing in college sports. And I know she's giving Jen and Jay as much as support and insight on what we need in the front office. And so I'm not privy and I'm not in those meetings, but I do know them, pretty well. And I have the utmost confidence that, they're putting together the right search, the right team to continue to serve and support Lincoln and Dave and Clark and everybody else in the front office. And I could tell you, working with Jeff McKay and myself during our time at Conquest, and, there was a lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of just clarity, different things that we needed to get clarity on how the school wanted to run things. And there was House of Victory that's really done a great job as far as raising money. And here's another thing, man. I just want to make it crystal clear to everybody. Somebody who doesn't work at the university, I built my business from the university. I could say that, though. I'm one of the probably million people who try to do what I've done and actually accomplished it, because I would say and did it because
let me say this on the side before you keep going. I kind of wanted to say, look, I wanted Murr to be the general manager, but that's a whole nother thing, though. But I'm not gonna get into that.
Hey, well, you know what? That's the type of thing that man, that would be that I would do that for free, man, honestly, because I've accomplished things financially and business that I'm good, man. I live a great life. I can support my family, and I'm blessed that I've done that, and I did that directly from the athletic department. And now, looking back here now, I work with, well over 80-90% of the current progens that are my clients on a day-to-day basis, right? And so I have the insight of how these guys operate, how they work, what they want to work with, how they want to look and feel about what goes on. And the other thing that I want to make crystal clear on this, and I know there's a bunch of videos and people out there that think that they know this and know that and get inside information, man. Listen, man, House of Victory, man, they're doing a good job, dude. Listen, at the end of the day, House of Victory is a fundraising arm. That's all they're doing, right? So let's make it crystal clear. And I know this because I've worked very closely with Notre Dame's collective. I've worked very closely with Oregon's collective and Ohio State's collective, because I manage clients that play on those teams now that are my clients now that are in the playoff, right? So I've worked hand in hand with those collectives till this day. As of today, I was talking to Notre Dame's main collective, and how they operate their collective, they give their collective a lot more autonomy in terms of working as an agency and doing deals and setting values and doing all those sorts of things, right? So I feel as though House of Victory has got some unneeded criticism from the vast majority And it's not necessarily their fault. Their job is to raise the money. And I know the money is there. Now that when the money is there, how our system's set up, that's up to Dave and Lincoln and the staff to best see fit how they want to use that. Now, we all have different opinions. For me, I'm on Team USC. So whatever Dave and Lincoln think is the right thing to do, that's what I'm supporting. That's what I think is the right thing to do, right? Because we hired those men in that position to do that job. And so that's what they're there. They're giving it a valiant effort every day in and day out. And are we winning every battle? No, we may not be winning every battle, but you know what? We're winning a lot more battles out there than most people don't really see day to day, right? And of course, right, we've lost, there's well-documented issues with quote unquote with the California recruiting and all that. And does it hurt our heart? Sure, man. As a purist Trojan, right? When Jaywalk was there, man, we put a fence around Southern California, right? We would come out and say from San Diego to Atascadero, all the way up north, we're putting a fence around this and we're going to build here. And then we're going to spot in the South and we're going to go to the South and get us an athlete in Florida and in Ohio. And we'll go do that and we'll fill our roster that way, right? That's the traditional way that we've did it. But Lincoln has sort of taken a different approach. And to your guys' comments before when I jumped on, man, this stuff takes time, dude. We need some patience with the man. He's a proven winner. Yeah, I'll tell you this though, right? Let's just go back a little bit here, right? Going after the first quarter of the Utah game and the Pac-12 championship game, after the first quarter, before Caleb hurt his hamstring, we were rolling at that point, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, we were humming, dude. And I'm not saying Georgia was shaking in their boots for playing us. Georgia was the 1 seed that day. We go and finish Utah that day. We're the 4th seed. Georgia does not want to play that USC team. They don't want to play that USC
Caleb,
team.
Yeah.
Caleb and Raleek and B. Rice and Addison. I mean, dude, we were right there. So, and look at the guy. Look at the teams that are in the semifinal. You got Penn State. You got Notre Dame, dude.
We went toe to toe with those teams.
We went toe to toe with those teams,
crazy.
man. Toe to toe, right there with them. So I'm here to say it. I've always got brazzed by being what do they call me? A sunshine pumper, I think. A lot of people call me that. But you know what, man? I don't care, baby, because I was born and bred at Southern California, at the university. There's not a single entity in my life that I love more than USC football. That's it. USC football is my life. That's what I built my life around, and that's what I care about the most, man. And so, I've been blessed enough to build my business around that and enjoy the fruits of that and see how it works and work with amazing athletes like Uchenna Nwosu, right? And even be hand in hand with Chenna, man, as my brother, arm in arm with them, man. Build with him, man. Build it from the ground up, right? Guys like Chenna got big dogs like Antoine Woods, right? Help them through their careers, man. Those are my brothers. Chuma Adoga, right? Ronald Jones. I mean, these are all my guys that I work with, man, that are my clients that I have, genuine just brotherhoods with and seeing and working with them and building them through their careers, man. It's been a blessing, man. And I've not only did that from as working on staff while I was an MBA student, but then able to matriculate after getting my MBA, getting into the finance world, and then building it up in the sports industry has been a blessing, man. So I know what it takes to be successful in this world of sports and entertainment. I know what it takes to be successful in NIL. I know what it takes to be successful in player management and how to budget money and how to make sure we get the most out of it in negotiation, right? And so whoever comes in, man, just know that I'm here to help and support and to encourage and to unleash all the resources at USC, because one thing about me is that I got a unique perspective that I've been on campus there since I was a baby, literally a baby, 8 years old, 9 years old, man, with Keyshawn, right? Now Keyshawn is like my brother. Like I was a ball boy with Keyshawn. Look at this. I'm right here in my home office. Nigga, this is my picture with Keyshawn. This is what Keyshawn sent me when I was in 5th grade. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's what, and now like, me and Keith, that's my brother. You know, that's my brother, right? It's a full circle, bro. So it ain't never gonna stop around here, man. I don't care what anybody says. There's not a bigger brand. There's not a bigger program when we're humming at all levels. I don't care what Notre Dame has to say, Ohio State has to say, Penn State, ain't nobody rolling like when we roll here at Southern California. And Lincoln Riley is not that far away, guys.
He's not.
I know that. What did we end up 7-6 because we won the bowl game? You know, I know that that's not where we wanted to be. I get that, and I know there's not probably a single person walking this earth that's more frustrated than Lincoln and Dave and Clark and Jen and everybody at the brass. They're more frustrated than all of us combined, right? But we just got to keep the faith and know that whoever they bring in as the general manager role, you know, they're going to bring in the best in the business. That's what I truly believe. And shoot, Jay, if they open that up, you know, I'm going to be the first one putting my application in, baby.
Hey, well, you already know I'm promoting you to the fullest, man.
Yeah,
man.
Man. And to me, I mean, we're just going to be real about it, man. It's like, for me, like, man, it's like, you know what? For me, I always follow my heart and intuition, bro. Right? I follow my heart and intuition because when you follow your heart and intuition, you're always going to lead you to where you want to become, where you want to be, man. Like, I wouldn't be here right now as a financial advisor, as a director of sports and entertainment for Raymond James Financial, managing well over 30 NFL college athletes on a day-to-day basis if I didn't have an undesired just confidence in following my heart and my intuition, man. Because you know what? I approach everything with genuineness, bro. Genuineness and knowing that no matter what, because you got to remember, man, energy is everything, bro. Energy is everything. So as a general manager, when you bring a guy on campus, to Jaywalk's point, you bring a kid from the South, you bring him from Broward County, you bring him out over here to Cali, you know, they're going to be able to read through that genuineness off rip.
Right. You got to be a people person. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
you got to be able to combine that genuineness, and you got to be able to combine the acumen of business, and you got to make them believe that you're that type of person that could get them to the next level in their career. I have to. And their parents have to believe that, more importantly, man. You know, that's been one of the greatest challenges of my career as a financial advisor, right? You know, when somebody gets drafted in the first round, all of a sudden they signed a $25 million contract, and you're sitting in front of them and their parents, and you're convincing them that you're the right man to help them shepherd that money so they could give them family generational wealth. That's not an easy conversation, bro. That's not an easy conversation.
And now that it's happening in college, it's even more so. They're getting it done early.
Yeah.
Financial literacy needs to be available to them. I mean, all kinds of things. I know you had that experience doing so.
Yeah. And I think that with the infrastructure that I know Jen and Lincoln are probably going to be investing in our front office, you're probably going to see a lot more positions just pop up through the front office, not just a general manager, right? You're going to have an assistant general manager, right? You're going to have all these different support staffs that are there. And for the way I look at life is, I just need a foot in the door. So like if I'm somebody that wants to get into this type of business, it's like, okay, you can put me wherever. I'm that type of person. That's how my dad built me. My dad was like, when we play sports, son, you play wherever. So so your coach, when you go play, what position you play? Well, I play baseball. So I play football. You can put me at catcher, you can put me at pitcher, you can put me at first base. It don't matter. I just play the sport. And I look at business the same way. I could do anything in business, man, because it comes with an undying confidence. And I hate to use Jim Harbaugh's words, but it's true. An enthusiasm unknown to mankind will win all the time, bro. It will win all the time.
You gotta have it. Yep.
Gotta have
it. Absolutely. Well, look, Murr, I know you came in. I know you just came in with the kids for soccer, man, and all that. Man. I text you while I was on live, and I said, well, you text me, and I text you back. I said, man, come on, man, tap in, because I wanted to hear your insight, because you got that experience. And I think I told you, I said, Murr, you need to be our general manager. But I just told you that on the side of the conversation. Man,
I would love an opportunity. When I seen that thing what Karchi put out today, and I respect Ryan Karchi to the highest degree of journalistic integrity, in my view. I think Ryan's the top of the top. I think that's great. I think it's awesome that's going to happen, and you know we need it. And it's not. I don't even think it's not an indictment on Dave Emmerich at all. It's not an indictment on Dave at all. I think Dave's probably going to slide into a different type of role, and you know, and hey, listen, man, things evolve, things change all the time, and it's just like, man, we're just ready to fight on and we'll start winning some football games here, baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, Murr. Hey, stay blessed, my man. I appreciate you tapping in, man.
You know, I love you guys, man.
Hey, Murr. Go get that dog work, man. Look at that.
I need
get that dog work stuff, man. I'm gonna send you the link.
I need to get that, man. Coach Henne deserves all the support out there in the world from all the Trojan family. So Trojan family on the call, get you a dog work, sir. I'm gonna get my wife, the kids. We all gonna show up at the park next week with all dog work. So that's how we do it. All right, big dog.
Hey,
good to see you, man.
All right, man. Hey, so that was some insight, man, from a guy. He actually manages all types of college athletes, professional athletes. As you heard, he said he works with Notre Dame Collective, Oregon Collective. This guy got major experience, and man, just behind the scenes, as I talked with him, I said, man, you really qualified for it. That's just a conversation that me and him was having. Jay, what you think about what Murr was talking about?
Hey, listen, guys, I know Murr on a personal level. There aren't many better in the business than him. And the way he operates in integrity, that's the word, the integrity. That's the type of person, the energy, that's the type of leadership we need in that facility. That's what we need in that front office, what he brings. He exudes it, and he's able to mobilize the trust of the athletes and the administration and merge those together. So he's the intersection of like all that. He's helping bridge the gap. That's what I'll say. He can bridge the gap between where we are today and where our true potential is. Murr's the guy that could do that, and I really strongly believe that. So, man, that was a blessing to have him.
That was a blessing to have him on. So look, we're gonna close on that. We've been on for an hour, but look, it was good to have that insight, man. We want to talk about that. Jay, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Much love to you all. Fight on. Hey, if y'all felt a little conviction from what I said, really just kind of check yourself a little bit, man. And if you feel like, you know, I'm reaching and preaching, that's fine too. But what I'll say is I've been in them shoulder pads, man. And not just any shoulder pads. I'm talking about these shoulder pads, the ones with this logo on it. I played at USC, and I'm telling you, you have no idea how challenging it truly is.
Absolutely. So look, man, me and Jay Watt, we definitely appreciate everybody. We got 911 people in here right now. I appreciate everybody. Let me take a picture.
911.
It's 911. Hey, look, can I tell you guys something? I don't want you guys laughing at me, man. I was in the steam room. I was at the gym in the steam room, and it got so bad on me one time in the steam room. I started cramping up, and I went to the locker room, and I just stayed on the floor. I said, call the ambulance.
Call the ambulance.
I said, call the ambulance. I need help. I said I can't move. Hey, everything locked up on me. For real. Hey, everything locked up on me, bro. Hey, I know you know. I said, man, I need some pickle juice, some vinegar, something. Hey, when I'm telling you I was stressed out on the floor, I was on the floor. You hear me? On the floor. Everybody was coming to the locker room like, what's wrong with him? I said, I can't move. Go to the front desk, call the ambulance. ASAP.
He just said call the ambulance. He said call the ambulance.
For real.
The ambulance.
Hey, look, man.
Fight on, guys. I'm out.
Hey, fight on, everybody.
All right, man.
All right.